Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. So this one is a community car sent in by Sarmatian. I know, it's another one of his. He sends me a lot of replays, and I enjoy them, okay? You know, maybe you should all be sending me replays, and I wouldn't be casting nothing but his games these days. So, yeah, think about that before you judge. Yeah, anyway. So, it's Dwarfs, and he's against Vampire Coast, which... pretty even matchup, I think. Pretty even matchup. Definitely either side can make some pretty terrible mistakes that can really be capitalized on, which I think is always really fun. It leads to some pretty tense matches, I find. So here, miners with blasting charges, miners with blasting charges, miners, dwarf warriors. That's right. All this stuff. Yeah, monsters will crush it, but if he goes with long beards, the monsters will still crush him, right? So go wide, plug up all the gaps, stop the zombies from getting through. That's the way to do it. They'll beat all the zombies, fine, you know, no problem. And with the miners, a little bit of extra armor piercing might help against things like rotting Prometheans a bit. So it all helps, And the blasting charges are actually pretty great against the zombies too, which I really like. Also in the back, rangers. So again, good for getting rid of that cheap fodder, and just the sustained firing. You know, it can whittle down bigger units too. Also, some more dwarf warriors. In the back, though, slayers. The dragonback slayers. More slayers. And more slayers. A lot of slayers. Because things like Morngulls, they have great missile resistance, so you can't necessarily... can't necessarily gun them down, right? You need something to deal with them in melee. And they're right at the back. I mean, sure, you know, hounds and things can across the back, or bats and things, so it's good to have them in artillery anyway, but... you want to have all these other lines in front of them because you want to whittle through as much of the crap that you can, because you do not want your slayers bogged down by deckhands and things while the big monsters just run riot and destroy everything valuable. So it's pretty tough. So you need to have them, you know, pretty safe to begin with. Also, there's Belagar. Belagar, I think, is a great choice because, well, you know, he's got some magic resistance like all dwarves, but he's just very sturdy. He is a very sturdy boy. You know, pretty good melee attack, 55 melee defense, but he's also got this bad boy, the Mighty Oathstone, so plus 27 melee defense for him and nearby things. Really good roadblock, this guy. 120 armor as well. It's very difficult to take him down. It is very hard indeed. And he's got enough missile resist with the silver shield that, yeah, he's going to do all right. He's very survivable indeed. So I like that as an option. I think he's good in this this situation. He does hit pretty hard too. He's just a good lord. I like him. I think it's a good one. So his opponent, this is pretty typical. It's terrifying. So he's got some hounds, some scurvy dogs, but in the front line, it's basically just deckhands across the board. He's got some pole arms as well. Obviously the anti-large, who cares, right? But the armor piercing is nice to have, and they're still cheap. But Morngulls. The Lamprey's Revenge, which cause rotting Prometheans. More Morngulls. Night Terrors, which are Morngulls. And Morngulls. He has a lot of Morngulls. Basically all the Morngulls. It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Obviously, though, Lamprey's Revenge, they can't stalk, so they're going to take a lot of the gunfire early. So that's good news, because they are terrifying. They will do a lot of damage, and they do regenerate, so you want to wipe them out early, so they can't just sit in combat and regenerate through any damage they're taking forever. So definitely worth shooting them first anyway. So, speeding things up. Oh, more scurvy dogs on the other side as well. So, you know, it's good to have some scurvy dogs try and harass the artillery, and especially with a big, wide formation like this, there's ways in. There's ways in, but you've got to have this big wide formation because you need distance between the front line and the guns, because you need to give as many roadblocks before they get to the guns as possible. You don't want the front line reaching the dwarf front line and then just summoning a load of zombies behind everything and getting into all the valuables. That's not what you want. You've got to have this space. Got to have the space. See, Lamprey's Revenge taking some pretty significant damage, which is definitely nice. Here, Miners actually pulling back a little bit. They do not want to be fighting Lamprey's Revenge straight away. You want the guns to soften them up a lot first. Here, those scurvy dogs getting chased off by the Rangers. Rangers are a very nice pick here. They're very useful, good range, and yeah, they stalk as well, so you're not going to see them necessarily. So they're going to come out of nowhere. They can reposition and guard different places, and it looks like a vulnerable area, but it's not, because there's Rangers there. You know, it's nice. So Lamprey's Revenge finally almost had it, but all these Mongols are getting in, and they're all fine. They are all fine. Which sucks. This is really bad. This is really bad. So anyway, here, Dwarf Warriors are in here. Rangers, looks like they've run into melee a bit. Nope, they're going to pull back. Slayers now moving in to finish these guys off. If you get to crumble, that's great. That would be great. Over here, though, looks like some dogs are going to get on those cannons. So a bit of a mistake there. But here, the Dragonback Slayers are running into the front line. They are going to tear these Mongols apart. Slayers are so good against Mongols. They're the one reliable tool that the Dwarves have for dealing with Mongols. So thank God there's a lot of Slayers. So here, Scurvy Dogs, they are crumbling. That's great news. So that gets rid of a lot of the maneuverability. Hopefully it means the cannons can stay safe a little longer. Certainly on this side. This side, things aren't looking as good. So Rangers and Dwarf Warriors running in to try and deal with them before the artillery crews get wiped out. That would be costly. So, Belegar running in the front line. Here you can see these Mongols have been taking quite a lot of damage. They're getting shot at a bit, and now the Slayers are coming in to finish them off. So that's great news. So here, yeah, there's some pole arms, but there's some Slayers and Dwarf Warriors in here, which is a good combination. The Dwarf Warriors can take a lot of the damage from the, you know, deckhands mobs, while the Slayers can concentrate on chopping through these Mongols. More cannon fire coming in, helping to keep these Mongols crumbling. Over here, though, amazingly, these Scurvy Dogs still alive, so some shots to help finish them off. Definitely want them gone. Huge blob in the middle, and there's a ton of Slayers in here, but they are suffering horribly. The Slayers are getting very injured. I mean, the anti-infantry from the Mongols will help deal with the Slayers, which isn't what you want, you know, but the Slayers are obviously better at dealing with the Mongols. But when there's all this fodder in here, a lot of their hits are just going to be hitting this rubbish that you don't want to be fighting at all. So the Mongols are getting off scot-free there, which is a real pity. Now they're starting to get into the cannons, which is a shame. Night Terrors running in. They'd stop rampaging, apparently. More zombies being summoned, keeping all of these Slayers pinned. Obviously the Slayers will get hundreds of kills against them all, but you don't want to be fighting them at all. You just don't. So over here, yeah, these guys are getting finished off. This side is looking pretty great for the Dwarfs. And it means there'll be some nice Overwatch fire, you know. The Rangers can start firing to this bunch, the cannons can start firing across into the larger units. It's definitely going to help, so long as this can hold. But because it's mostly Slayers, they should be able to hold a while. There is a cannon, though, being overrun here. That's not ideal. And here, those Mongols are trying to chase the Rangers away, and that cannon's getting completely overwhelmed. But there's another cannon back here that will be able to get back online, and there's some good defense on it too. Unfortunately, the Dragback Slayers have just been pinned by so much rubbish. They're getting wasted. They're getting wasted there. And in here, I mean, Belegar's in here, but with just all of that armor, the melee defense and everything, he's doing alright. He's not taking much damage in this at all. So he's having a whale of a time just sat in here beating on all this stuff. So that's lovely. And, yep, cannons able to start firing in. Mongols in the back, real problem, but these Slayers are moving back to deal with it. You've always got to consolidate that back line, keep it safe. Every time something slips into the back line, it means it's on its own. Right, they've managed to sneak in the back, but now it's just prime target for Slayers to get in the back and deal with them, which is really good. You know, that's what you want. There's enough of a roadblock here with Belegar. I know you don't want to use Belegar as a roadblock normally, but he's keeping all the fodder busy. And while the fodder's busy, the Slayers can be used to the best of their abilities, you know? So that's always nice. And not a huge amount of... well, there is some armor piercing, but terrible melee attack on the armor piercing units in here. So they're barely ever going to hit Belegar. And the things that have slightly better melee attack, still rubbish, but they're not really going to hurt him, because they don't have the armor piercing. So back here, all the Slayers getting stuck in. Unfortunately, another zombie summon, and that is great use of the zombie summon. You know, every time you've got Mongols fighting on their own, get them some backup. You know, just bring in backup. So that's great. Obviously, the fleet captain, he's having a whale of a time running around. Here's Law of Vampires. Don't even mention he had him. I'm not sure I did, but anyway, Invocation and a Hairkin zombie summons, right? It's just great, especially if you've got a load of very expensive stuff. That's what you want to go with. Law of Vampires, very powerful. So here, Dwarf Warriors, able to run in here and deal with them. Some Slayers still going. Still a lot of trouble in the back line. You know, that cannon's been routed, that cannon's been routed. The other one, I think, is shattered somewhere, but there's still this one. This one is still online, which is definitely good news. Here, these Dwarf Warriors should be able to deal with the Tide of Skjold eventually, but they are just going to force path. You know, they don't mind taking some casualties if it means getting on top of that cannon. So these miners really need to just run in here and help pin them down and kill them quicker. Same with these guys. Cannon shots blasting straight through. It's helping crumble a load of this stuff. Belegar still on half health despite fighting half of the army for half the battle. It's pretty impressive. So back here, you can see the fleet captain trying to chase the Rangers. The Rangers are going to run away, which is great. It's just leading the Vampire Fleet Admiral away from everything that he needs to be supporting. So that's perfect. And the Slayers able to finish off a load of these expensive units. You know, the Scurvy Dogs getting finished. The Mongols, these Mongols are crumbling. It's good news. Here you can see the Night Terrors, they're crumbling, they're almost down. But they are a great tool against Belegar, so they need to die quickly. You know, even a few hits, then Belegar's going to hurt from that. So, but they're getting taken down, so that's pretty great. Over here, cannon is a little bit overrun, but luckily the Tide of Skjold also crumbling, which is great. Very good news indeed. So as long as the cannon keep firing, it's all good news. So unit's been wiped out. I think that might have been a unit of Slayers. Oh no. Still some Dwarf Warriors here trying to deal with the Mongols. Not ideal, but the Mongols are crumbling. So hopefully they'll crumble quick enough that they won't be able to get the damage in. So that's nice. So over here, yeah, it looks like Looks like that. Oh, no, no, Night Terror's still going, but they're fighting Dwarf Warriors and Slayers right now, so they're gone. And Belegar still alive somehow, but Hornswogger's been used on him, which is perfect for something with Belegar, you know. Lower his melee defense, lower his armor. They're the two biggest things, you know, the biggest things he has at his disposal. So get rid of them. Perfect. So Rangers here, helping finish off the Tide of Skjold, and the cannon will be able to start firing at its leisure again. This cannon crew, they're going to get online again soon, and some units coming back, but as you can see, a load of the infantry is crumbling now. It's really only this Vampire Fleet Admiral that has any health left, but he's beating the snot out of Belegar. Yeah, he's got really good melee attack at 65, so that's going to get over that 55 melee defense pretty happily, so that's not good. Belegar has softened up as he was. Very bad news. So, these guys still getting dealt with. There we go, finally dealt with, and this cannon can get back to it. So that's great, but man, that took a while. So over here, some archer fire coming in, trying to hit the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Dwarf Warriors should be able to just finish off the last of these guys. There are 3 Slayers left as well. That's right, 3 Slayers. That's game-changing. Rangers run out of ammo. They're going to run in, try and bog this stuff down. And here you can see the cannon crew still running, and Belegar gets shot in the back. Ooh, that's dishonorable. That's a grudging. That's definitely a grudging. This guy, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. So, Rangers coming back in, but very injured. You know, it's not going to take much to break them. Same with these Dwarf Warriors. Yeah, leadership's not going to be great for the Dwarfs right now. You know, they're all very injured, or just not that useful anymore. The Rangers, not great in melee, not terrible, but not great. You know, it's not good. They're not really made for fighting a Lord in melee, and they're the healthiest unit. Everything else is only going to take a hit or two to wipe them out. Like here, Slayers. I say Slayers. There's one of them. Yeah. So, cannons firing in, and it's going to be a tough target to hit. You know, the Vampire Fleet Captain is very small. It's going to be very difficult to hit him with cannons. So, yeah, see, another miss. And that's just going to keep happening. Oh, no, that hit him, though. That hit him. Of course, he is at his healing cap, which is definitely good news. That is definitely good news. So, more Dwarf Warriors coming back into the fray. So, there's some Dwarfs left. But basically, the only thing that can do any damage are the cannons. So, if the Fleet Captain can get here, shut down this cannon, and then make his way back, he might be alright. He might be alright, but that's a long way to travel. And that is kind of the beauty of Sarmatian's setup here, you know? Having just 4 cannons wide along the back, it's very difficult to focus on any one, you know, without the others joining in and backing each other up. And that makes it very difficult. That makes it very difficult indeed. And it's definitely paid off, you know? I mean, that huge surge of Morngul's. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I mean, it'll just beat up anything it comes into contact with in terms of Dwarven infantry. Apart from Slayers, but I don't really consider them infantry for some reason. I mean, they are, aren't they? But fine. Anyway, here we go. Yep, that's why you get vampires. So he doesn't have to kill all of them on his own. No, he can just summon some deckhands to help deal with them. Yeah, the Rangers already taking a ton of damage. That Hornswoggle's going to make him just useless. 0 melee defense. It means... oh, sorry. It means the pirate deckhands can just beat them up, which is hilarious. 0 melee defense. And only 40 armor, because they're Rangers. So, yeah, not very dwarfy right now. No, dwarfs, always the melee defense and the armor. These Rangers, none of that. None of that. So, that's pretty funny. So, but they can run away, and they did run away. But a lot of stuff is running away. These cannons still running away. Everything's running away. Some ammo left on these Rangers, but not much. Yeah, things aren't looking great for either side, to be honest. It just depends if this cannon can actually hit or not. I mean, they've managed to hit a few more. You know, that Fleet Admiral definitely suffering. These cannon crew running away to avoid them being a target. I mean, they can basically wait right up until the Vampire Fleet Admiral gets to the other cannon before getting back online, because it means that the Admiral will have to run all the way back. So it's not so bad, you know. So he can take his time, make sure he stays out of the way of the zombies. So here, managed to catch up with these Rangers, and he's going to get some good damage into them. And more Warriors rallying, that's good news. And yeah, the cannon's going to get online. And I've got a feeling that the Admiral over here calls it quits in a second, actually, because, yeah, he couldn't shut that cannon down for good. He's going to get back online. And just these constant, you know, trips to and fro. There's just no way. I mean, they're going to kill him eventually. They're going to be able to kill him before they run out of ammunition, and they're not going to get killed in time. Although, it looks like he is actually just going to get gunned down, huh? There we go. There we go. So he's managed to spare his lord. by ending the battle prematurely. So Pyrrhic victory, and this was fun. I like this matchup. I do like this matchup a lot. I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, there's just so many tools that they both have for dealing with one another that it's difficult. It's a lot of it is just the balance, right? So do you bring more, you know, cannons and slayers or a sturdier front line, right? And, you know, so you got a roadblock that lasts longer to let less stuff in the back do the work. And then for the Vampire Coast, do you try and compete with the cannons with your own, you know, buffing them with, what's it called? Spiteful Shot, you know, so they could win those duels, or do you just go all in with the monsters? You know, it's fun, and they kind of counter each other in different ways. So a lot of it depends on the build, but I think these two builds, very evenly matched. Very evenly matched. I mean, this kind of rush build, it'll crumple that front line so quickly, just so fast. And if that front line crumples too quickly, then a load of the zombies can keep going, right? They don't take as much damage, which means that they end up just fighting slayers, and that's great for the zombies, because, you know, the Mongols can just run back through them, let the slayers get caught, and they can get onto more valuable targets. But then, of course, if something does break out, you know, if the slayers do manage to get out of that fray, then, yeah, the Mongols are vulnerable because they're on their own, and it's a lot of toing and froing, which I love. I think it's really fun. I think it's fun indeed. So, yeah, I guess that's that. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.